The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My questions on a different subject are for the Premier. A man named Derek Tobin in North Dartmouth had $1,300 worth of damage to his car when he went into a mega pothole at the Lancaster intersection coming off the 118. And a woman named Karen Cole had a similar experience on a different road, but as a result of it, she had to replace all 4 tires on her car. Now, if this were extremely rare, it would be one thing, but it isn't. Does the Premier agree that our roads should be in better shape than to be causing so many thousands of dollars damage to people's cars?
The Honourable Premier.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Minister of Transportation and his department, and the men and women all across our province, Mr. Speaker, continue to deal with highway infrastructure. I'm proud of the investments that we continue to make. As the honourable member would know, there's this time of the year, we, through all, Mr. Speaker, all governments continue to deal with the issue of potholes. The honourable member, I don't know specifically the cases that he's referring to. There is a loss claim prevention that can go through the department that will be analysed, and I would encourage the names that he's mentioned to do so.
The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is exactly that program that the Premier mentions which is the problem. The program, the Road Hazards Claim and Investigations Program, is intended to compensate people whose cars are damaged by provincial roads. But last year, 910 claims were made, and of those, only 47 resulted in a benefit to the driver. In the last 5 years, the percentage of successful complaints every single year has declined. In 2014, almost 8% of claims were successful, but only 5% of claims were approved last year. Mr. Speaker, what is the point of a program that almost no one seems to be able to benefit from?
The Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Again, I want to thank the Honourable for the question. I think the importance of this program, Mr. Speaker, is that Nova Scotia motorists want an avenue when they feel that their vehicles have been damaged, Mr. Speaker, based on the road conditions, based on the fact that something hadn't been addressed. They need an avenue to come into government. We think this is an important step. In terms of the ratio, why certain ones have been done over the last year, not this year, Mr. Speaker, I don't have an explanation for it, but I will endeavour to find out for the honourable member and be able to answer that question for him.
The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party.
Thank you. I want to suggest that part of the answer to this problem is the way that the program is set up, and the way that its current rules give the government all the cards. Once the department is made aware of a hazard, the department decides on the time that needs to be allowed before that hazard needs to be fixed, after which there will be liability for damages incurred. But this information is never made available to the public. Will the Premier agree to develop a system where road hazards and repair timeframes are publicly listed, so as to increase the transparency and therefore the success of the Road Hazards Claims and Investigations Program?
The Honourable Premier.
Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the question. I don't know all the details as he's describing, so for me to commit to that on the floor of the legislature, but I do think in his preamble to that question, the issue about whether or not there's a third party that can determine who's right and who's wrong, and whether or not the government has used all of the data in front of them, I think merits consideration. And I would tell the honourable member that I will raise the issue with the department to look at, is there a way to adjust this program that provides motorists with a better feel that they're being treated more equitably when it comes to their complaint. And if there is a disagreement between the government and them, that we have a third party that can actually adjudicate and determine which is right.